Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Not exactly the way I want to start right after a test, but with our little snow day yesterday, this is what we got. So definitely make sure you're paying attention here. This will be a little different than what you've done in the past. So normally warm-ups, I'll let you guys work. I would actually advise you to pause the video and actually do this problem. Just so you kind of go through this yourself. But I know most of you are going to put this on double speed and get through this as fast as you can. So here's what we do. If we're going to use long division, okay, so obviously no calculators here, and we're going to divide 23 by 3, okay. 23, and I'll try and use terms that you guys goes in the shed, is what people have told me you guys learned. So 23 is going in the shed, and our 3 is going to go outside the shed. Okay? Now, to do this, we're going to ask ourselves, how many times does 3 go into 23? Well, I know that 3 goes into 23 7 times. So 7 is going to go on top of the shed there. Okay? And then we need to multiply our 3 and our 7. Okay, 3 times 7, hopefully you guys know, is 21. And then we actually need to subtract those. I'm left with 2 left over. So that means, okay, I'm out of numbers. I can't go any farther. So this 2 is what we call a remainder, if you guys remember that. Okay, and how we're going to handle remainders is we put them over what we're dividing by. So if I were to ask you what is 23 divided by 3, you would say 7 2/3. Now, seems like a really weird warm-up for an Algebra 2 class. I get that. But today's topic is going to be dividing polynomial functions. So going to be a little different than what you guys have done before. So talk about the remainder and the factor theorems. We'll actually get to those next week. However, today we're going to focus on using long division of polynomials. So if we're going to divide x cubed minus x squared minus 2x plus 8 by x minus 1, okay, your x cubed minus x squared minus 2x plus 8 is going to go inside of our shed, and we're going to divide that by x minus 1. Okay. Now, if you want to watch me walk through this first and then come back and re-watch and take your notes, that might be a good idea here. Otherwise, we're very much going to follow the same process that we did with our 23 divided by 3. So I'm going to ask myself, how many times does x, okay, I'm just worried about this x, the minus 1 part doesn't really matter right now. It will, but just for our first step, I'm going to ask myself, how many times does x go into x cubed? Well, or what do I need to multiply x by to get x cubed is actually the question I ask myself. But same idea. And I'm going to get x squared. Okay, x squared and x multiply to x cubed. Now, I like to keep everything in a vertical line. So that's why I put my x squared over my x squared term instead of over top of that x cubed. If you put it over top of the x cubed, that's fine. But I just like everything to fall in nice ordered rows. So that's why I do that. Okay, now I need to multiply x minus 1 times x squared. So if I take x squared times x minus 1, hopefully you guys know that you can just distribute that. Okay, so I'm going to get x cubed minus x squared. And now, just like we did before, okay, we need to subtract this. Now, be careful when you subtract this. At bare minimum, you need to put your x cubed minus x squared in parentheses. Okay, that's going to help make sure that you remember that you are subtracting everything. Otherwise, a lot of people will just get the x cubed parts mixed up. I actually like to just go in and change my signs. Okay, makes it a lot easier. If I change my signs, then I can just add. So I'll put that in black so that you guys know that those are different. Pick the way that works for you. This is just what's worked for me. Now, if you do this right, x cubed plus a negative x cubed is 0. That's what we want. Okay, this one we actually get an extra bonus here. Negative x squared minus a negative x squared or plus x squared, however you handle your signs there. That's actually going to add to a 0. So that's just an extra little bonus for us. And we're going to drop our minus 2x down. Minus 2x. Okay? We're going to go through almost an identical process. We're going to ask ourselves, how many times does x, or what needs to multiply x to get a negative 2x? Well, hopefully you guys know that that is a minus 2. Okay? Negative 2 times x will give me a negative 2x. Now, because I only have this negative 2x here, that 0 doesn't do anything for me. I have to end up dropping my plus 8 down earlier than what I normally would. So I'm going to multiply negative 2 times x minus 1. I'm going to end up with a negative 2x plus 2. Okay? Now, just like I said before, I need to subtract all of this. So I'm going to get a positive 2x minus 2. Okay, and that leaves me with a 6. My negative 2x's end up canceling out, which is exactly what I want. Okay, now I don't have anything else to drop down. Therefore, this 6 is going to be my remainder. So to write your final answer, you're going to take what's up top. I'm going to have x squared minus 2 plus my remainder, 6 divided by whatever I'm dividing by, x minus 1. And that's going to be my final answer. Okay? The worst part about these is honestly just getting them started and doing them for the first time. Once you do a couple of these and you just keep asking yourself and answering the same questions, they'll come easier. I promise. They do every year. So don't freak out just yet. It's not the time for that. Now, if we're going to go on to this next one, we're going to go x cubed minus x squared minus 2x plus 8, which, if you notice, is the exact same thing that we had in the last example. Okay, but now we're going to divide it by x plus 2. So x cubed minus x squared minus 2x plus 8 goes inside our shed, and x plus 2 is going to go outside our shed. I'm going to ask myself, what do I need to multiply x by to get x cubed? Hopefully by now you know that is going to give me an x squared. And now I need to multiply x squared by x plus 2. That is going to give me an x cubed plus 2x squared. Now, I need to subtract these. Okay, I'm going to subtract both of them, so I just change my signs. X cubed minus x cubed is 0. That's exactly what I want. Now, if I have negative x squared and I take away 2 more x squared, that's going to leave me with a negative 3x squared. Notice, powers do not change. X squared stays x squared. All we're doing is subtracting the numbers in front of x squareds. And I'm going to drop down my minus 2x here. Now, I'm going to ask myself, what do I need to multiply negative 3x squared by? Or what do I need to multiply x by to get negative 3x squared? Okay, again, that plus 2 just doesn't really come into play until we multiply. I'm going to need to multiply x by a negative 3x to get negative 3x squared. So I'm going to go negative 3x squared. And when I multiply negative 3x by a positive 2, I get a negative 6x. Again, I'm going to change my signs on these instead of subtracting. If you want to just subtract them, put them in parentheses, that's fine. I'm perfectly fine with that. Our x squareds cancel out just like we want. Negative 2x plus 6x gives me a 4x. And I'm going to drop my plus 8 down. I'm going to ask myself, what do I need to multiply x by so that I get 4x? Hopefully you guys know that is a positive 4 because I want my signs to stay the same. And when I multiply x plus 2 by a positive 4, I get 4x plus 8. And I go ahead and I subtract those. And look at that, everything cancels out. Okay, I don't have anything left to drop down. That means 0 is my remainder. This means this divided out evenly. Okay, so since that is a 0, all I have to do is either box this in up here or write it out nice and neat as x squared minus 3x plus 4. Either way, however you want to write your answer, I'm fine. Whether you just leave it up top of your division or write it down below, that's fine with me. Okay? As you can see, it is just constantly asking myself the same types of questions. So make sure you're asking yourself those questions. That will make this a lot easier. And remember, when you add and subtract x values, your exponents do not change. Okay? That's the other big mistake that I see. Now, this one's a little different. Okay? I'm going to divide 2x to the 4th plus 3x cubed plus 5x minus 1 by x squared minus 2x plus 2. Okay? Just like with synthetic substitution, when I do this division, I need every power of x. Hopefully by now, you guys can recognize that I am missing an x squared. Okay, I have x to the 4th, x cubed. I do not have an x squared, but I have an x, and I have that constant term with my negative 1. So we're going to set this up just like we have been. I'm going to go 2x to the 4th plus 3x cubed. Okay, since I do not have an x squared term, I'm going to put a plus 0 x squared. Okay, I have to have a place filler for that no matter what. Then I just keep going with my plus 5x minus 1. That's all going inside the box. And I'm going to go x squared minus 2x plus 2. And that is all going inside the box. Now, I know this looks really bad and really ugly. It's actually not as bad as what it looks. Again, it's going to come down to asking yourself the exact same questions that we have been asking the entire time. Okay? I look at x squared, my first piece. I ignore the minus 2x plus 2. I don't need that right now. The only thing that I'm concerned with is matching my highest exponents. So x squared times what is going to give me 2x to the 4th? Well, I need a 2, and to get x squared to x to the 4th, I need an x squared. So I'm going to get a 2x squared. Okay, again, you can write that 2x squared over top of 2x to the 4th. I like all of my x squareds to line up. That's why I write it above the 0x squared. Okay, that's personal preference. You don't have to do it that way. That's just the way that I like it. It keeps things a little more organized for me. If you haven't noticed, I'm a big proponent of organization. Okay, now I have to multiply x squared minus 2x plus 2 by 2x squared. When I do that, I'm going to get 2x to the 4th minus 4x cubed plus 4x squared. Just make sure I got this right. Okay. Now, I need to subtract this. I'm just going to change signs on everything. Plus, and that's going to be a minus. Now I can just add 2x to the fourth plus a negative 2x to the fourth. Hey, that gives me 0. That's exactly what I want. Okay, when I go 3x cubed plus 4x cubed, that's going to give me 7x cubed. And 0x squared plus a negative 4x squared is going to give me negative 4x squared. And just like before, bring down the next term that I haven't touched. I'm going to bring down this plus 5. And now, I ask myself, what do I have to multiply x squared by to get 7x cubed? Okay, signs need to stay the same, so I'm going to go plus, and to get the 7, I need a 7. X squared times x will give me x cubed. And again, I multiply this entire thing, x squared minus 2x plus 2, by 7x. I'm going to get 7x cubed minus 14x squared plus, forgot my x, plus a 14x. Again, we need to subtract these or change all of our signs. I'm going to change my signs here. Again, personal preference makes things a lot easier. I screw up a lot less on signs ever since I've done that. Okay, my 7x cubes are gone. I take negative 4x squared plus 14x squared, and I get a 10x squared. And 5x plus a negative 14x will give me a minus 9x. And I drop down my negative 1. And hopefully by now you've kind of picked up to see the pattern here. We're going to ask ourselves, what do I need to multiply x squared by so that I get 10x squared? Well, I already have x squareds in both of them. All I need to do is multiply by a 10. Okay, I go plus 10 since I don't need signs to change. I want it to match exactly, and then I will subtract it. So positive 10 will give me a 10x squared minus 20x plus 20. And now here's where my sign changes go into effect. Minus plus minus. And my 10x squareds cancel out. Perfect. Negative 9x plus 20x gives me 11x. Negative 1 plus a negative 20 gives me a negative 21. Now, looking back underneath my shed here, I am out of things to drop down. I am out of room up top. Therefore, this 11x minus 21 is going to be my remainder. So your final answer is going to be 2x squared plus 7x plus 10 plus 11x minus 21 all over what we divided by x squared minus 2x plus 2. That is our final answer. Okay, so again, hopefully you guys picked up that it is the same questions you're asking yourselves over and over again. If you can ask yourselves those questions, you're going to be golden. So here's your homework. Fifth period, you guys are going to end up with an extra day due to the 2-hour late start. So we will actually check this on Tuesday. I will catch second period up on Monday. And we'll check this on Tuesday. So Monday, you guys will have time to work on this. But go ahead and give these a shot. Page 356, 15 through 22 in section 6.5 there. If you guys have questions, let me know. Feel free to shoot me an email, catch me in the hall, whatever. That's fine. Other than that, have a good weekend. Have a good day, everybody.